final project demo video. So, and just a quick reminder, my project was I did a computer science study resource with a S3 bucket to host the front end, API gateway, Lambda function, and RDS then to ultimately store the input from the front end to the RDS. So you store like the name of the person taking the quiz and uh, the score of the quiz and this and what the score is out of. So I'm just going to break down real fast the services that we used. So first and foremost, we use an S3 bucket, like I said, to host the front end. So I got some HTML files in here, some JavaScript files, and some CSS files, and a couple of folders as well. So other imaging and components store the images for the website. Then I have an API gateway. The API gateway has post method in here, which is integrated with Lambda, and it also has this options method in here. And what this is this is just the CORS method, which allows for integration between the front end and the back end. So basically, without CORS, that handshake between the API gateway and the front end wouldn't happen, and wouldn't allow the input from the front end to ultimately make its way to the RDS. So very important method right there. Kind of allows all the entire functionality of the program to work right there. So it's definitely something you want to do in this program, and definitely something that can cause issues if you don't do it. So going on to the Lambda function, let me pull up the Lambda function right here, where it's the final project function. And the final project function is linked to the API gateway, as you can see right here. Wait for that code to load up here. Here it is. So the index.js file right here is my Lambda function. So what I have here is just basically connects to the RDS right here. So username, password for the RDS. And this is the endpoint for the RDS right there. And basically just takes the input from the front end and stores it into the RDS. So then here's the RDS setup right here. Here's the endpoint for the RDS again. CIDS 431 final project for the name. And also how to make sure it's within a VPC, the same VPC as the API gateway and Lambda function, or excuse me, just the Lambda function. But also, yeah, I just kept the same VPC from Lab 12. I kept it around and figured why not use it. It worked great for Lab 12 and it worked great for this assignment too. So, and then the last part is I had an EC2 instance running as well. And this is just so I could SSH into the, well, yeah, so I could SSH into the EC2, and then I could create the database and access the database from there. So with that all being said, I'm going to get into a quick demonstration of how it works. So here's that front end. You can see all the images and files load correctly, and all the just so that's all working good. And I'll do a quick demonstration of the flashcards there too. So let's have those open up. So just simple terms from like data and bug, programming language, and then I consider a couple more higher level terms like a semiconductor maybe, or a data structure, operating system, or an API. So it's kind of cool. And this takes it back to home. And it's kind of nice though. We have an easy, medium, and hard quiz. So it's kind of students of any level can use this to learn. So it has good functionality in that regard. So we'll do this one right here, and then first thing it does is ask you to enter your name. So we can pick any name. I'll choose Martha for the name, and we'll just go ahead and fill this out. So answer the questions as expected. So algorithm, CPU, instance of a class, containing data, these are databases and data structures. Perfect. Yeah, so we can see quiz completed, final score 5 out of 5. So what we're going to do now is I'm already SSH'd into my EC2 instance, and I'm connected to the database. So what I'll do is I'll just pull up the most recent entries from the quiz info. And as you can see right here, after we entered Martha in, we have Martha listed there with the score 5 out of 5 on the quiz. And yep, so it's reflecting the front end data. So that's really, it's awesome. It's working well there. And then just to do one more run through. Do Chris for the name. And then we'll get a couple wrong here just to kind of show the difference between like the variance between the answers that you can have. So 2 out of 5 there. So we're going to go back to the database, pull that up again, and here's Chris with the 2 out of 5. So pretty cool there. Excuse me. And another thing I wanted to touch on really quick during this demo video too was Postman. During the entire thing, I had most of my issues are coming from the API gateway setup during this project. So I just want to kind of show you a quick, cool way that that Postman works and just kind of how it saved me throughout the process of this. So right here, I have some JSON code right there, and you can enter in any data for the input. So we'll just do we'll do the loop demo test, and then let's do a 5 out of 5 for the score. And then what we can do here is we can send the post method, and we're going to wait for a response right here. And as you can see, it responded, and also it will populate the database with that too. So we'll go ahead and pull it up, Luke demo test 5 out of 5. So that's just a quick example of the functionality of Postman. Super awesome, super helpful for just troubleshooting any type of API issues. Let's see where I'm at. Then another quick thing to note is definitely have to make sure that the API URL, when you deploy a new API, that you're updating this and also updating the file in the bucket, because if you don't, it's still going to try to use the same API prior to the most recent deployment. So that can definitely cause issues too. That's just something you got to remember. Sometimes you don't remember that, and it can cause a lot of confusion if you don't. So something to note there. And then I wanted to note too, just another thing that I ran into during this project was initially when I would pull up the bucket endpoint, it all came up normally except for these were all the images were kind of just like the default like no image icon. So I couldn't figure out why the images weren't showing up. And I was kind of going crazy a little bit. I had all the images within the same bucket right here. And I was kind of thinking it was a file path issue. I was going to delete all the files, go through all the files, change the file paths in the code. But thankfully, a lot easier way to do it, or a much easier way to do it, is upload and you just do add folder instead. And once you add a folder, it gets added with the file path that works. So like components and other imaging store the images, and you can see if you click into them, they'll have all the images for like the flashcards right here. So extremely helpful, extremely good tool right there to help get all the images correctly put into your bucket. Let's see. I think that's really all that I have. And just really quickly, again, just want to touch on the entire project. So computer science study tool, it was a really great project just for being able to get a full experience from coming up with the idea for a project, creating a diagram in Draw.io, so conceptualizing it to actually putting it into practice, deploying all the cloud services, and integrating all of them together, and then reflecting and writing a reflection paper. So it's just a really good comprehensive assignment. I enjoyed doing it a lot, and I'm glad I did it. So, yep, that's my final project demo. Thanks for watching. Yeah.